History of softball. Introduction. The earliest known softball game was played in Chicago, Illinois on Thanksgiving Day, 1887. It took place at the Farragut Boat Club at a gathering to hear the outcome of the Yale University and Harvard University football game. When the score was announced and bets were settled, a Yale alumnus threw a boxing glove at a Harvard supporter. The Harvard fan grabbed a stick and swung at the rolled-up glove. George Hancock, a reporter there, called out "play ball," and the game began, with the boxing glove tightened into a ball, a broom handle serving as a bat. This first contest ended with a score of 41-40. The ball, being soft, was fielded barehanded. Continue. George Hancock is credited as the game's inventor for his development of a 17-ball and an undersized bat in the next week. The Farragut Club soon set rules for the game, which spread quickly to outsiders. Envisioned as a way for baseball players to maintain their skills during the winter, the sport was called indoor baseball. Under the name of indoor-outdoor, the game moved outside in the next year, and the first rules were published in 1889. Continue. In 1895, Louis Rober, Sr. of Minneapolis, organized outdoor games as exercise for firefighters. This game was known as kitten ball, after the first team to play it, lemon ball, or diamond ball. Rober's version of the game used a ball 12 inches, 30 centimeters, in circumference, rather than the 16-inch, 41 centimeters, ball used by the Farragut Club, and eventually the Minneapolis ball prevailed, although the dimensions of the Minneapolis diamond were passed over in favor of the dimensions of the Chicago one. Rober may not have been familiar with the Farragut Club rules. Fire Station Number 19 in Minneapolis, Rober's post from 1896 to 1906, was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in part for its association with the sport's development. The first softball league outside the United States was organized in Toronto in 1897. Continue. The name softball dates back to 1926. The name was coined by Walter Hawkinson of the YMCA at a meeting of the National Recreation Congress. In addition to indoor baseball, kitten ball, and diamond ball, names for the game included mush ball, and pumpkin ball. The name softball had spread across the United States by 1930. By the 1930s, similar sports with different rules and names were being played all over the United States and Canada. By 1936, the Joint Rules Committee on Softball had standardized the rules and naming throughout the United States. Continue. 16-inch softball, also sometimes referred to as mush ball or a super slow pitch, although the ball is not soft at all, is a direct descendant of Hancock's original game. Defensive players are not allowed to wear fielding gloves. 16-inch softball is played extensively in Chicago, where devotees such as the late Mike Royko consider it the real game, and New Orleans. In New Orleans, 16-inch softball is called cabbage ball and is a popular team sport in area elementary and high schools. By the 1940s, fast pitch began to dominate the game. Although slow pitch was present at the 1933 World's Fair, the main course of action taken was to lengthen the pitching distance. Slow pitch achieved formal recognition in 1953 when it was added to the program of the Amateur Softball Association, and within a decade had surpassed fast pitch in popularity. Continue. The first British Women's Softball League was established in 1953. In 1991, women's fast-pitch softball was selected to debut at the 1996 Summer Olympics. The 1996 Olympics also marked a key era in the introduction of technology in softball. The IOC funded a landmark biomechanical study on pitching during the games. In 2002, 16-inch slow pitch was written out of the ISF official rules, although it is still played extensively in the United States under the Amateur Softball Association of America, or ASA rules. Continue. The 117th meeting of the International Olympic Committee, held in Singapore in July 2005, voted to drop softball and baseball as Olympic sports for the 2012 Summer Olympics, but will be back in the 2021 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Softball India, @SoftballIndia, Twitter. Softball India, @SoftballIndia, Twitter. History of Indian softball. Introduction. In the year 1944 and 1945 some of the boys played softball game with American Army stationed in Jodhpur during Second World War. The father of Indian softball Dr. Dashrath Mal Mehta was one of them. Later he and his friends started playing softball regularly. Later they discovered that games similar to softball were being played in India. First time this game was started in Rajasthan and after that spread throughout the country. Dr. Dashrath Mal Mehta formed Softball Association of India on November 21, 1961 under the noble guidance of Dr. L. M. Singh Gavi, Mr. Anant Singh Kikawa, Mr. Madan Lal Pungalia, Mr. K. D. Gautam and valued support of their good friends. Still they had confusion in rules and they were in search of Softball Association in America and had some addresses to clarify the rules. In the year 1964 they came in contact with the softball lovers who formed International Softball Federation for the promotion of the softball game headquartered in America. Continue. International Softball Federation organized the first World Softball Championship, Women, in Australia in 1965. The members of International Softball Federation agreed to visit our country on way after World Championship. The American team visited India at Calcutta in March 1965 and played softball exhibition game with Indian team, which proved boon for us to develop softball game in country and to publish our own rules book. Mr. W. W. Keaton, President, Mr. Don A. Porter, Secretary, and Mr. Dick Stone, Umpire-in-Chief, International Softball Federation were with the team who conducted the first official clinic for Indian umpires. They cleared the rules on softball and system of umpiring on softball game. Persons with the Indian team attended that clinic and were successful. We cannot forget the kind patronage of Mr. P. D. Himmatsika who managed the event in Calcutta. Continue. In 1965 the first rule book on softball game was published in country to promote softball game in different states, and in the year 1967 first National Softball Championship for men and women was organized at Jodhpur. Teams from Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan participated in this event. Softball India, posts Facebook. Softball India, posts Facebook. Hard facts of softball: Indian men's team gear up for Asian Championship, the new Indian Express. Continue. In the year 1973 the Softball Association of India was recognized by All India Council of Sports. We did our best to promote softball game in country and send our teams to participate in the Asian Championships for men and women. We organized the coaching camp for coaches first time in Panaji, Goa, to have batter coaches to prepare Indian team, which was attended by 42 trainees, men and women. Mr. L. E. Min Kwan of China and Mr. Sani Sultan of Singapore imparted coaching camp. Mr. Abdul Aziz bin Abu Talib, Secretary General of ASA Asia, visited and expressed that the camp was landmark, keeping view of number of trainees and standard. We have also conducted umpires and coaching clinic in 1997 at Indore, MP. Mr. Tommy Wong of Chinese Taipei and Mr. Sunny Sultan of Singapore trained our umpires and coaches. Since the days of humble beginnings in Rajasthan, the softball as a game in India has become a name to reckon with, and its popularity is increasing day by day.